Alright, Chapter 2, Maintenance. Periodic schedule for dynamic brake resistor. The IA, the IB, the IC, AOH, IOH, periodic schedule, carried out with the maintenance of dynamic braking works, indication work on, not to be done, work to be done. Check brushes, unsafe limit of the 20 millimeter, check connection, tightness, check the spring tension for the brush holder, moving the brush down several times in the brush holder, release carbon dust. Inspect accumulator surface clearing, check the clearance between the brush and hold the accumulator 2 to 3 millimeters. I'll ensure all the covering are secured and check the IR armature compoles field for the IR should not be less than 0.5 mega ohms. Lubricating bearing with a servo gem and 3 with the equivalent grease on both ends of the 12 GMS. Resurface the communicator with the ovality exceeding 0.1 millimeters overall MVRF. Alright, your description: magnetic valve. Clean the valve with a rod and valve sheet with a petro or overall. Check the continue with the magnet valve with the insulation resistance CTF. Ensure the provision double roll with the pinpoint of the CTF drum. Check for the U fork with the roller. Replace the worn out. Ensure the provision brass roller instead of the nylon roller. Check for the anti-leakage. Check the contact gap of the contact pressure of the main auxiliary contact beating. Check the tip of the main contact. Check the shunt with the condition tightness, and smear the main contacts with Vaseline. Lubricate servo motor drum bearing. Smear the cam with Vaseline. Check for free movement. Replace the piston cup. Check the piston with the lubricating cylinder wall. Replace the piston packing necessary. Check the condition of the fixed mobile content. Check the condition of the rubber bucket. Check the protection proper operation of the JT CTF. Check all the Powell dowel pins. Condition braking. Check the healthiness of the U fork fixing, screwing, replacing if worn. Check the condition of the rivets, meaning the fixing end of the brush flange. Tighten all the nuts and bolts of the auxiliary switches. Check over the shooting the manual, alternating the alternate Allen screw with the contacts overall CTF. The ATFEX, check the tightness correction, check for the side cover, check for the overheating marks, check for visual bare crackness, remove the bottom cover and blower dust for the dry compressed air, dynamic brake resistor. Visually check the top and the bottom abnormality, check for the tightness of the nuts and bolts and screws to blow a resistor blank. Blow a resistor bank of the dry compressed air with the suck of the vacuum cleaner. Inspect the resistance of the air damage of any damage. Inspect resistance for any damage. Repair the defective dynamic braking resistor. Examine the insulator support with a wipe off the clear dry cloth. Check the operation of the QVRF by sucking the air through the connection pipes. Check the delamination burning with the mica insulation boards, replacing if damaged. Check the insulation surface to the avoid tracking flashover. Overhaul the RF. Or your AO and IOH schedule. The dismantling dynamic braking resistor for the following sequence should be followed with the dismantling dynamic braking resistor into unit locomotive. First, open the hood of the locomotive with the dynamic braking resistor unit is fitted onto the underframe, and then screw the bolts with the dynamic braking raise to base of the locomotive floor. Open the power cable, secure the properly before lifting. Put lifting brackets on the top of the dynamic braking resistor unit. Lifting of the crane. Ensure that the outer portal shall not be damaged with the lifting of the dynamic braking unit. Unit. Take out the front and the back cover to dismantle the bus bar connection from the front and back side. First, open the lock nuts and push the front and the back side simultaneously. Alright, rigger 2-1 show the dynamic braking resistant unit. 8. Removing the installation panel from the front side. Carefully take out the resistor grade the stack on them on clean to make at the top of the trace elements separately as they different resistance value to the elements of the other trace. Examination of the cleaning of the components resistor elements 222. Figure 222, the resistor box board. Should the resistor box board silicone bound with the mica board should be cleaned. Removed any deposits with a soft clean cloth. Check the resistor box board with decoloration, degradation, delamination for any damage. Replace the damaged or burned boards. Electrically intact, the resistor banks should be cleaned. To remove the dirt and dust, they should require the shame should be washed in with forced water jet to remove sticky particles not to be dried. Surely the element resistor banks should be free with any deformation causing overheating, broken ceramics, the sagging of the grids and century of the resistor banks. Ensuring the QVRF relay as operation provides suction on the side. Assembly of the dynamic braking resistant unit. The following sequence is followed during the dynamic braking resistant units. Check for the cracks and damaged insulation plate before reassembly and arrange the resistor elements in a line per drawing. Put four elements bottom of the last tray with a push to the slowly insulation plate with the help of the bushing. Follow the sequence of the top tray. Lock the bush with the help of the lock nut. Connect the bus bar connection as per drawing. Before putting the resistor bank on the top of the blower, ensure the impeller is moving freely and the blower motor is covered in the side cover. After completing assembly, apply the suitable solution sealant to fill the gaps on resistors box and the motor inspection cover. Alright, dismantling the MVRF. The dismantling of the motor frame should be supported on a suitable cradle with no dismantling fan. There should be bearing the caps found with the mark over them to ensure the reassembly with the same condition. Removal of the fan and guide fan. Figure 2.3 shows the fan assembly. Removing the split pin with the lock nut from the shaft at the recess of the fan hub. Withdraw the fan tapper your shaft using the exactors with the extractor which engages with the internal threads as the fan hub. Remove the guide vane. Unscrew the hex head and head screws. Remove the motor fan from housing. Remove the air duct assembly. Unscrewing the hex and screw from the housing. Unscrew the M20 hex bolts and lift the motor fan from the top. Remove the end shields and armature bearings. Unscrew the hex and held the bearing caps and screws. Remove the bearing cap. Disconnect the brush gear lids. Lift the brushes and clear the communicator. Release the end of the shield. Remove the countersunk screws. Withdraw the armature through the either end. Care should be taken not to damage the communicator windings or core. Remove the lock nuts from the shafting. Unscrew the bearings and pull out the bearings using an extractor. Overhauling the MVRF. Armature. Check the armature damage of the loose band for the coil for the communicator with the micro groove. Disassemble the motor for the machine should be thoroughly cleaned in the following. Compressed air with the vacuum cleaner, air cleaning solvent like Orion 77. After ensuring the armature does not require any major repair conditions, if it preheat armature 120 to 130 degrees Celsius for 6 hours, dip the insulated part portion of the armature in the F2005 or 500 EK varnish. Post cure 140 to 160 degrees for 8 hours. The commutator. Carry out the pressure check. Turn the communicator required following specified procedure. Blow out the complete armature. Remove the copper and mica dust. Paint the communicator neck groove with the epoxy red anti-traction tracking paint. Collect the V-ring with the front of the communicator. Check the conducting bar to the bar test. Record the H high voltage drop of the pattern. Examine the inner outer race of the bearing of these components. Brush gear. Check the brush gear components blister and the damages. Check the brush holder spring tension. Check the brush holder insulated arms. If they appear to be good, subject to 2 kilovolt oil C for the 15 seconds. Apply 1 coat with red anti-tracking paint and dry. Provide new carbon brushes. Field coil and connections. Check the field coils connection with any loose joints and check the field coils washer for any side of the overheating. Ensure the field coils are returned or assigned. Check the tightening all field connections, main pole jointed bolts and joints. Check and record the IR for all the field coil with the earth to the earth. If the sound satisfactory, subject the magnet frame component of the field coils to overheating to check the IR. Place the defective coil with using the proper shim to make all the field connections as per the diagram. With the frame still hot, apply one of the coat solvent polyester varnish. Although the varnish is secure, conduct the polarity test. Shunt the coils and main field coil. Reassemble the MVRF. Reassembly should be done with the reverse order of the dismantling following the points given below. All shims and packing pieces should be restored to original position. The pole spacing should be checked to ensure that the gaps between the pole tips are equal with tolerance of plus or minus 0.8 millimeters. All bolted connections should be tightened. Necessary leads should be tapped together to prevent undue movement. Keeping the bearings absolutely clean. New bearings should not be removed from the wrapping until they're required for use. Bearing caps should be filled with approximately 2/3 full of grease. Grease should be pressed into the bearing to fit and fill in the spaces between the races. The bearing should stay seating of the shaft should be free of all dirt and etc. Ensure the bearing is seated accurately on the shaft. Finally, secure the bearings and locked in position. Clearance between the brushes should be equally lip speed with a tolerance of 0.8 millimeters. No lower complete motor vertical in the housing assembly of the M20 bolts of the offspring washer. Turn the motor along with the housing upside down. Assemble the impeller. Balance the impeller in position. Portable balancer. Assemble the air duct on the top of the motor. 2-3 Installation Instruction. Lifting the eyes provided with the top of the unit with the handling the overhead crane with a small D shackles that must be filled with to ensure the crane hooks do not damage the outlet portal. Before attempting is made to supply the power with the resistor, the following criteria must be satisfied. The dynamic braking resistor must be perfectly located and fitted, and the imperative of the air intake with the foreign bodies ensure that the wire mesh guard provided with the fixing location wire mesh welded into the inlet cone. The QVRF relay is provided with the bottom of the resistor box and connected with the suction nipple with the proper side of the rubber hose. Figure 2.5 shows the protection device. 4. Follow the instructions contained with the RDSO-TC and number 0072 regarding the QVRF relay connection. The MVRF connection is directly taken with the resistor terminals at the top of the tray connected. For units of grease relief and plug Allen should be removed and discarded with the completion of the installation. Ensure all power connections are correct in the polarities. Observe cables are terminated on main terminal bars. Ensure airflow devices are wired control circuit, which is disconnected by dynamic braking resistor. In the event of low loss of airflow, connect the wires overall to the temperature control devices, and if any of the respective air circuit. The airflow must be thoroughly through the resistor out of the top of the resistor opening of the locomotive roof. Chapter 3, Common Problems and Causes and Remedies.